Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor. Let's go ahead and get in here. This is patch 10.8, doing a coaching session for an Amumu jungle. So if you like a coaching session yourself, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com or stop by the stream. Been starting stream around midnight Eastern Standard Time, usually go until about 4 or 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. Sometimes we start a bit earlier, around 10:30 or 11, but lately it's been around midnight or 1, and then we've been staying later. But okay, let's go ahead and get in here. Alright, so they have Trundle. Kind of a tough matchup. Yeah, I think it's good to dodge him. Gromp next. Let's speed through some of this here. What do you have as your secondary runes? You have Ravenous? I think Ravenous, it doesn't look like it. I don't think you're healing enough for Ravenous. Ravenous, I feel, is just crucial on anything that does magic damage in the jungle. It's so much healing, especially on your early clears. It'll seriously be like 200 or 300 healing on your first clear. Okay, you need to hit this dust before you walk in that river. If Trundle gets you, you're going to have to flash. He went bot side, so this is risky. You don't see him, though. I mean, I guess you can try it. You still have 1 smite charge, right? Yeah. Okay. Usually you want to dodge him. As a Amumu, avoid the early jungler. I'd go get golems here. Okay, there's Trundle. So he just didn't want to fight you for Scuttle. He should have fought you for that. I guess maybe he thinks you're topside. Okay. Yeah, this could be a good cleanup. Oof. That's a rough one. Okay. So just golems back. I would have backed there. Because you have to walk to the top side of the map. I guess getting the second Scuttle, since he was on the bottom side, he didn't do the Scuttle. So I guess you could go 1 more clear. Your clear, like, the second clear is going to be a lot slower than the first one if you don't buy, because the camps level up. I mean, sometimes I do that. Like, I'll get 1, depending on my pathing, I'll get 1 or 2 extra camps before I go back, but... Now, a lot of high-end Amumus also take Electrocute and just go, like, a lot of AP. So, but because you don't have another tank on your team, and I think that Aftershock is still one of the safer options. Yeah, at this point, just go ahead and do Wolves and Raptors just because he does them so fast. Be careful with your... I wouldn't use the Qs just because you're going to start running out of mana at some point. It does refill pretty quickly with the jungle item, but... I would have probably just gone ahead and got Raptors just because they're so fast and easy for Amumu. It's like his easiest camp. But... that's fine. I mean, you do need to back anyways. And now just start bottom and work your way top. Trundle's top, so you don't have to worry about him sneaking dragon on you. Okay, yeah, just... boots and work in Cinderhulk. I would have gone to golems. Golems are still your highest golden experience clear. Now I don't know if they do take more time, so I haven't done the exact math on every jungler to see exactly, you know, what's the best thing to go for, but I think Amumu does them pretty quickly. I think they're like 30% more golden experience than other camps though, so even if they take like a third longer, they're still worth. So I highly prioritize getting those golems. Or the Krugs, whatever they're called these days. The camps are fairly even. It's like Gromp and Golems are the best. Get him, get him, get him, get him. I think you could have ganked that. Since you're there anyways. You need to be decisive. Either just like go for it and gank it or just farm. You know, you really don't want to be like running back and forth on stuff. You know what I mean? Okay, that was good. I didn't see where Trundle is. Okay, good. Get a gank here. Nice. Okay. See if you can get Dragon. Ping your team, get Dragon. I would ping your team and get Dragon right there. You got middle dead, bots pushed in. You could have had 4 on drag. Was it warded? It didn't look like they were reacting to me. Maybe I saw that wrong. I mean, just because, like, if you sweep and you see a ward, like, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to react to it, especially if this is in, like, silver. A lot of times people just have a lot lower peripheral vision. So sometimes, you know, if you sweep and there's a ward, just run for them anyways. If they start running away, then you can go ahead and clear it. But if they're not moving, you know, just run through it. Okay, I think... Okay, so I think that was a missed opportunity for Dragon. He's gonna get Rift, get Rift, get Rift, get Rift. He's bottom, just get Rift. I think you're trying to gank too much. Like, every time you come through, it kind of wastes time and they see where you are. I know you're trying to, like, counter... It seems like you're kind of counter-gank Trundle here, but he's already going to have this... Like, this fight's going to be done by the time you show up. And then they're going to rotate to Dragon, and they see you on this. So, you can't be afraid of, like, trading objectives. You know, if they go bottom like that, yeah, it sucks that, you know, he's probably going to get a double kill, and they're probably going to get Dragon off of that. But you just got to get what you can get. I wouldn't contest the Dragon. I mean, you might be able to Miracle Steal it, but you're almost certainly going to die to do it. And it's still only going to... Well, if they kill him, okay. I mean, if Talon kills him... Okay, you needed a bandage toss over the wall. So it did work out because Talon came down there and killed him. Oh, I don't know if you had your Q, but as soon as the Zillion ult fell off, I think you could have Q'd and killed the gem there. But yeah, try to, you know, don't be afraid to trade objectives. Even if you're like, okay, they outdid me, they're getting more bottom, you just want to get something. You know, with how long that gank took, you probably could have had Rift and then rotated down there and tried to defend the Dragon, or you could have just done Rift, Gromp, Wolves, Raptors, you know, just clear everything. And then at least you're going up on him, like, you're trading Rift for Dragon, and you're going up on him 3 camps while he does that. Yeah, I think, once again, Rift was wide open. Like, Rift is more valuable than trying to turn this around. Same thing as I kind of, you know, was talking about last time. I think you're trying to gank too much. Hey, thanks for the sub, Pascal. I appreciate it. Because he's gonna fight you. The thing, like, with your ult, you are pretty strong as Amumu, but Trundle's still, like, a really hard matchup. Because he's going to zap all of your tankiness. Especially with Conquer. Or Aftershock. I didn't even think of that. I would almost certainly go Electrocute into Trundle. I don't know, if at this elo they may not like pick up on that interaction. I didn't think about it immediately either. But if he takes your Aftershock resistances, and then Aftershock wears off, It's really brutal. It's the same thing that used to happen to Sejuani and to Trundle, which is why Trundle countered her so hard. So, like, if Aftershock gives you 80 resistances and he steals, you know, 20% of that, and then those 80 resistances fall off, he still keeps that 20%. Yeah, you gotta anticipate he's gonna do that. You guys will probably get him, but... Okay, you got him. Oh, that feels bad. So, like, just as an example, just for easy math, if he had, if you have 100 armor naturally, and Aftershock gives you 100 armor, if Trundle takes 20% of that, then he's gonna take 40 armor for 8 seconds. And then the Aftershock falls off after 2.5 seconds, and you drop back down to your 100 base armor, but he's still stealing 40, so that drops you down to 60 armor instead of 80 if you didn't have Aftershock. So it's a pretty brutal counter to Aftershock. I need to keep track of that a little bit better when I play Trundle. When someone procs Aftershock, I need to try that a bit more. But, yeah, Sejuani used to almost go into negative resists off of that, so... Anyways, moral of the story is I would, gank less, and I would prioritize farming more here. A couple of your ganks have been pretty solid. I mean, that one bottom where you could have had the double kill if you hit that bandage, like, that was the right thing to do, was to go for it. It was just a mechanical error, but, you know, it's gonna happen. Got ult? No ult yet. Okay, that was still... That was a good gank. That's a high probability gank. You're getting a nice flank there. They're not expecting it. But this, like, chasing down to try to help somebody who's dying, it's a thing that I say a lot. You just gotta not try to save drowning people. But that was a good one, because you had a nice 5v5. Jhin was at half health at the start, so that was good. Resistance. Well, yeah, I mean... I never try to correct anything anyone says in chat, because a lot of people are typing on their phones with autocorrect, and... Wings is a native English speaker, but we have people that aren't native English speakers, too, that come in and chat, and, you know, some of the... Just the way that you say stuff in other languages is a little different than... how a native English speaker would say it, so I just let it slide. I've become a lot more chill about, like, my, grammar and stuff like that over time, especially grading papers. Like, kids have so many more problems than whether or not they spliced a comma. I mean, it still matters, but it's like, you gotta pick your battles. If I can just get them to capitalize standalone eyes, I'm happy. It's, like, incredible. Okay, you got it. That was a risky dragon. I mean, I'm guilty of doing those too, obviously, tonight. I've been punished for it a lot. Okay, Vayne's getting fed. That's good. I know, but... 105 spell check. Yeah, it's fine. I think in general, grammar really... I mean, as long as someone knows what you're saying, the only time that it matters is... in, like, a more professional setting, or that's one of the major places where it would matter. Not because it affects your meaning. Like, it can. Certain comma splices can affect meaning pretty dramatically, but most people know what you mean. It just, anyways, whatever. I don't want to go off on a sidetrack like that, but I don't like Abyssal Mask in general on Amumu. I think it's kind of a trap item. Especially because they have almost all AD, like their only AP is Zillion, who really doesn't do that much. Like he has some burst with the bombs, but he really doesn't do that much compared to a lot of other mages, especially sustained damage. So, trying to think. Also, your team... Well, you don't have a ton of magic damage, but you gotta remember Trundle's gonna be stealing a lot of that, too. In fights. I would probably just start working Leandri's here, honestly. First item. Helps you with objectives a lot faster, and Trundle can't steal anything off of that. I mean, he gets a little bit more health, but... I would definitely be thinking AP against Trundle, especially. Hey, what's up, Zach? Yep. Doing a coaching session for Sammy. I would, I mean, they're going to get this tower. I would just get your Raptors and Gromp and then back. You're going to lose this tower. Like, there's no point in going up here, I don't think. The problem is they might go for this, and you're offsides. I mean, maybe Vayne and Janna might be able to clean them up. You're committed to it now, though. Don't rotate middle until you get this. Okay, so that was risky, but it can be all right. Like, one thing that I've heard some challengers, and I'm trying to watch more jungle stuff, but I remember even back in the day, you know, that's one of their golden rules is don't, like, finish your camp before you leave. Now, there's going to be some exceptions occasionally, but in general, finish your camp before you leave. I just think, you know, as I keep saying over and over again, unless it's like a really high probability gank, I think that unless all your stuff is farm and you just don't have anything else to do, I just think that ganking is kind of it's kind of a waste of time in this meta, especially in silver, just because you won't convert it. Like, people just won't play it right, and you can waste a lot of time. All about farm objectives. I think Sammy's either high bronze or silver. I know Sammy had been gold last season, I believe. He was gold at some point. Yeah, you don't really want to go damage on contemporary Trundle. Like, nobody does that. The only thing they get are Titanic. I was kind of wondering why more people didn't do, like, why they stopped doing Trinity. But I think that's just kind of what the modern builds are. Trinity's really not that cost efficient compared to some of the other items out there these days. It's like a little over 100%. But Titanic just gets crazy efficient if you get enough health items. If you have like 3,000 health, I don't know the exact math on it, but it's crazy. It's very, very efficient. And especially as a jungler, like, you split push some. I mean, Titanic's good for splitting too, because you get the extra wave clear. But like, Trinity is better for taking towers on a split. And for like individual dueling, but Titanic's way better for team fight and wave clear, so. You know, I thought about Death's Dance, like, why don't people do more Death's Dance Blade the Ruined King? I'm not 100% about that, because it seems like that would be good, but it's like literally nobody does it, and he's very popular right now in high elo. It's possible that's better in lower elo. Like, maybe it's worth considering, but a lot of it comes down to cost. Okay, that was a good sequence there. Don't walk close to that. Don't walk close to that. I don't think it saw you, but it's like, it's a little perimeter around it still sees you. It's not like, I think the hitbox is a little off. I know, it's not like Trinity's bad, it's just that other stuff is good. And I think people have gone for like the cheap abuse items more, which is always really good, especially in support and jungle. So more and more people are going for stuff like Knight's Vow has been super popular new technology on him, because the healing that you get off of your ally doing damage gets amplified by your W. And Knight's Vow, when you're near somebody, is like 200% efficient or something like that. It's very, very efficient. So you're seeing a lot of people do like Knight's Vow. You're seeing some people do Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart did get some buffs a while back. I was pretty high on it early on in the season when it got those buffs, but it just never ended up being like amazing on Rakan. But it is very good on Trundle against heavy AD comps. So, and it's very cost efficient. You know, if you're slowing, I think it was something like if you slow 3 people with it, it's like 200% efficient. So it's just a numbers game. Oh, nice. It's just a numbers game with efficiency. A lot of times. You know, where Trinity's 100%, it's very expensive. You know, something like Frozen Hearts, 2600, 200% efficient. Knight's Vow, 2200, 200% efficient. So people are just going for the cheap, efficient items. Faster power spikes. Better team fighting. I feel a bit like it's kind of a feels bad half the time when I go Titanic. I wish I was a little tankier on Trundle. Gargoyle is another one that's becoming increasingly popular on him. It's because that ends up becoming like 130, 140% efficient even without its active if you're near 3 people. So people are just prioritizing the tank abuse items over the DPS items right now on Trundle. And he's one of the best people for it because he brings like really good utility with his ult, and then the pillar is surprisingly pretty legit in fights. The Knight's Vow specifically, though, is really hot because of the extra healing that you get. So Death Dance Bork do seem really good. Death Dance is pretty efficient. It's like 120% or something, but that's the one thing, is it just feels like you should be getting more lifesteal with your W a lot of times, but damn, Trundle's getting this bottom. I would have probably gone back to try to stop the Trundle. I mean, I don't know. Talon is marking him. This is probably okay. If you get the tier 2 tower, well, you can't be results oriented. Oh, that's not good. That he 1v1'd your assassin with no armor items. Oh, I can chip in John also. Y'all were talking about stuff. I mean, I have 5 gig or 500 gigabyte SSD. I don't even do a dual drive. I feel like mechanical drives, I mean, I'm not an expert on that. Obviously, the people in the chat that were talking are know more than me, but I think they're supposed to be a lot slower, so I just didn't even want to mess with a mechanical drive. I store a lot of stuff, too. You know, I have a lot of videos on the channel. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't have a ton of games, though, at the same time. That's the thing. If you have, like, an entire game library that you want all of them on your computer at the same time and you keep jumping back and forth. Like, I just have the Steam library, and if I'm just not currently playing something, if I haven't played it in, like, half a year or whatever, you know, I'll just delete it off the computer. And if I want to play it again, I can just download it again, you know, in a few hours. Like, that's how I run it, though. But if you have, like, just a ton of games, I could see how you might need more storage. But for me, just even 500 gig SSD, it was pretty cheap back in 2015 when I bought it. It wasn't that bad. It was like, I don't even remember. It's probably like $200, $300. And just have it all on a single drive. And it's fast. Almost never have any wait times. Just when there's more moving parts and moving drives and crap like that, I just feel like there's always just more stuff that can go wrong. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think you should go into that, especially with, maybe if you have your ult and Akali's like literally right on top of you, ready to roll. But I would have probably just passed on that. You just gotta let them go. They can't, I mean, my videos are only like, I guess it depends on how many videos and what resolution you're recording them in. You know, my videos are, like, just, like, my Warhammer videos and stuff like that are usually, like, 4 gigs each or something. I think it depends on the games. Some modern games can get up to 100 gigs, some of the new AAA titles, I think. Depends on how well they're optimized. Like, I don't remember, I think Witcher was, like, 60 or something. I think a lot of game companies are trying to figure out ways, like they figured out new ways, architecture to get the spacing down, so even like high quality games can be lower. I don't know though. I mean, computer stuff is not my expertise. Still getting the grasp. Wait. Oh, getting the grasp of jungle. I thought you meant grasp of the undying. I was like, wait a minute, you don't have grasp, do you? No, I totally get it. Well, that's why. I mean, you donated for coaching, so I'm just giving you advice. I mean, I'm obviously working on it too. I'm not an expert in jungle yet either. But okay, y'all got it. That was a very risky take, but you turned it around. Kali and you were putting in some work. Yeah, Thornmail's a pretty good one. I still, like I was saying earlier, I still would get, Leandre's. I see a lot of Amumus. Now, I don't remember. There was some combination of items that felt pretty good. I feel like Cinderhulk is good, but also, you know, a lot of Amumus are taking, the Runic Echoes. It does help a lot with your mana in the jungle, especially if you don't have blue, if you need to donate your blue over to mid lane, or, you know, just whenever blue's not up. And it gives a lot of burst, and it gives you, I would say, either similar or maybe even a little bit more wave clear in the jungle. Runic's, like, pretty dang good. So, like, I see a lot of them going, double pin, like Sork Boots into Oblivion Orb. I mean, you don't have to go that hardcore if you do want some tank. I like Leandre's a lot on him. I feel like I would definitely go Leandre's before I went Rylai's. Rylai's does give a lot of AP, but the Leandre's damage is much higher overall, I think. Leandre's is very underrated. Except by LS. Why does Talon have IE? I don't know, man. I think his Q can technically crit. Doesn't it crit if it's point blank and certain criteria are met? I don't remember. Obviously, it's something nobody gets on Talon, but I think crit does have an interaction with his Q. I just don't remember what it is because nobody ever does that. I think. I could be wrong about that, but I think his Q, like, if it's point blank or they're under a certain level of health or something, it can crit. All caps YouTuber build. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's optimal, but at the same time, you know, there are worse things. Hey, he could have gotten Blather and King Talon. Okay, nice. Jungler's dead. Good. I'm trying a new build. Okay. Wait, is it Talon your homie? Heh. Okay, yeah. His Q crits for 150% when you're in close range. Yeah, I thought it was something like that, if it's melee. But usually you use it for a gap closer. I guess if you use your ult first, and then you're able to run up in Q, and then auto, or like Q and, or attack, Q, attack, E. But I think most of the time Talon uses it from range. But I don't know. I think it's a for fun build, but it's, you know. Oh, it's Mustafa's elder brother. Okay. Yeah, I know you usually roll deep in these games. You bring the crew. But, you know, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but yeah, it's not traditional. Against, like, if you're kind of playing back for some reason on Talon and you're trying to, like, kill tanks, maybe it's better. It's certainly better against tanks, so maybe he's thinking he wants to try to kill that Trundle. It would probably do more damage into something like Trundle. Well, this Trundle is trying, like, an all-damage build. That's a really strange assortment of items, though. You want to, if you're gonna go damage Trundle, I would at least get Death's Dance. You don't want Titanic if you're not getting health. Like, the whole point of Titanic is you have, like, you get to, like, 3,000 health, and it does a lot. But if you don't have any health, there's no point getting Titanic. Like, with that build, he probably should have just done Ravenous. Ravenous is not bad. If you have a lot of AD, Ravenous scales off of AD. The Crescent on Ravenous does. And you get a lot of sustain off of it. So Ravenous may have been a good choice there if he really wanted that. Or, Death's Dance. I think maybe Death's Dance instead of, Trinity. I don't know. He is split pushing a lot. Trinity is good, but... Okay, so you're getting... I don't like the Ionians. I don't know. I mean, I guess... Amumu's ult is very important, and you do have a lot of other tanky items. I don't know. Presumably you're going... Like, I think Frozen Heart would be pretty good here. I would have probably gone for a Frozen Heart instead of Abyssal Mask. Because really the Zillion doesn't do that much. And if you take... You're not taking Ravenous, but trust me, take Ravenous, look at your healing after the game. I remember when I was playing some Amumu games, it was something like 5,000 healing. By the end of the game, like, it's a crazy amount of healing on Ravenous Hunter. Especially if you take, like, a Leandres to go with it. A lot of healing. Nice. Yeah, Ravenous is a really underappreciated item on AD melee champs. People just never get it. Most people do Titanic because a lot of those, you know, melee type of champs go for, like, a single damage item and then a bunch of health. Nice. I like the animation when they turn into a dragon. Okay, so... Ooh. He's doing some damage, but... Well, I guess to be fair, like, Vayne is going to carve him up. If he goes tank. I don't know. I think you still got to kind of go some tank on Trundle, but... No, not Ravenous on Amumu. I was talking about Trundle. Because people were asking, someone asked earlier in the stream, you know, what do I think about more damage items on Trundle? So I was commenting on Trundle there. Okay, so pretty good overall. I don't remember what you said your secondaries were, but I would definitely take Ravenous as second. Most people, you know, some people go Electrocute as their primary Amumu rune. I don't know about that. I mean, these are one tricks, like, the best of the best. Or at least the people who play Amumu a hell of a lot. That's what almost all of them do. Is the Electrocute Amumu. I'm with you. I kind of like the tankiness of Aftershock, especially if you're learning him. It is very nice. It does have a bad interaction with Trundle, but I don't think Trundle was really abusing that. But I would get Ravenous in there somewhere, because it makes you so much healthier on your first clear. If you just, like, you'll see a huge difference. I mean, I'm serious, like, what Amumu starts with, like, probably 600 health, something like that. It's, you know, effectively like you're starting with 800 health. Like, it's a very, very big deal. And Amumu's first clear is the scariest thing. And I'm pretty sure it, Ravenous also triggers off of, like, the dot damage from your Hunter's Talisman. So it's a lot of healing. It's a lot of healing early on. So I would definitely get Ravenous, and it's up to you. Some people do cheap shot with him. That can give you better early dueling. You can go for the sudden impact, which gives magic pen, which is okay. I like going for Ghost Poro early, just so that you can go put a deep ward in their jungle, like ward their red or something like that, or their raptors early, while it's safe, and then you'll get vision of them, so you know where they are, so you can avoid them. Because there were, like, Trundle wasn't really trying to punish you, but he was on the bottom side of the map when you were trying to get that scuttle on the bot side, and he could have come and run you off that scuttle if he wanted to. So again, especially against more aggressive, like if you're against Olaf, Lee, at least stuff that's going to try to hunt you down in your jungle, like in theory they could do that at least. Then you know, knowing where they are is a huge deal. So I think just trying to avoid them is probably a good call. So yeah, that's what I like. I like Ghost Poro and Ravenous at like gold and lower. A lot of people will take Zombie Ward at higher elos, but people just don't ward a lot. In like silver, so oh, you went Ultimate Hunter and Cheap Shot. Okay, I mean that's the thing. The Hunters are good. All of them are good for the most part. The Ingenious is kind of niche, but Ulti Hunter is very good. It does let you make more plays. I don't know. He does. His ult is really important, and it is on a long cooldown. So I don't know. It's hard to fault you for that. I'm not sure about that. But see what you think about Ravenous. I mean, if you don't find yourself in a scary place, you know, you could try it out. If you're gonna take Ulti Hunter, like, you have to get a lot of kills, and you have to use your ult basically on cooldown. You got to start a fight and just ult, pretty much. But Ravenous is just, it's so good, so good. No, I don't know, but that's something to consider. Ulti Hunter is definitely really good too, though. And then just in general, I think the biggest thing was just over prioritizing ganks, especially on Amumu. He's not the most fearsome ganker. He's okay, but there were a lot of times where you had camps up. Just always think you want those camps down before you gank. And he can clear fairly quickly. Like, he clears surprisingly fast, especially like raptors and wolves. You know, he can tear those up. So just try to, you know, make sure your stuff is cleared and then go for those ganks. Unless it's like a super obvious, very easy gank, like that one bottom that you did that was great, where they're all pushed in a tower and Jen's at like half health, and you had a good chance for a full flank 3v3. Those are good. But just the one, you know, where everyone's like in the middle of the lane and everybody's kind of full health, you know, because walking over there, it's probably going to be warded, or they're just going to flash your Q, or you might miss it. You know, versus you could just go and he clears the camp so quickly. You could have done, you know, 2 camps in the time that it takes you to gank. And that's it's a similar amount of gold to a kill. Not exactly. You probably get like 200 gold, 200 experience, but it's guaranteed. You can't mess it up. And they just nerfed shared experience on kills by 20% also. So it makes it even less like valuable to gank unless it's a really high probability play. And then like the dragons and the Rift Herald. Rift was free several times. Rift is massive. People do not value Rift at all in like silver, and it's huge. I mean, Rift is pretty much guaranteed like 320 gold. I think it's 160 a plate, so it's a kill. You get Rift, it's a kill, and it gets plates. And that's like the best case scenario, or like the base case scenario is usually getting 2 plates. Sometimes you can get 3. And then that would be, I think Rift is 160 a plate now. I think they buffed it. It might be 140 a plate. But either way, it's a lot. And especially if you gank and you get a kill, it's basically first tower, which is an additional, you know, large chunk of gold. So Rift is a lot of gold. It's a lot of pressure, and people just really don't respect it at low elo. So anytime you can take Rift, if you see the jungler on the bottom, I would take Rift. Yeah, other than that, I think the team fights were pretty good. There were a couple of fights that you took where you didn't have ult, where you were trying to like go in and help them out, like this one right here that we talked about. Just trying to run around and save people a lot. Whereas a lot of times you just gotta, as a jungler especially, you gotta be thinking trade. Like, okay, they did something somewhere else on the map. What can I get on my side of the map? Right? Can I get Rift? Can I get a couple of camps and get an advantage on them? You know, can I maybe go gank the other side? Right? So if you see their jungler gank your mid lane, maybe you can gank top lane. Right? So sometimes you just have to trade. You know, you can't always match them. If you're in the area, you can counter gank them, but it's okay to trade stuff too. And just figuring out like what's good to trade. And sometimes you just have to take a losing trade. You know, if they gank bottom and get 2 kills in Dragon, and, you know, maybe all you can get is Rift and 2 camps, but that's better than trying to rotate and defend that Dragon when there's no way you can do it because 2 of your teammates are dead. So, and you know, it's not rocket science, but sometimes it can feel like it's kind of close, right? When you're learning it, and I still don't have all the trading perfect either, but anyways, okay, well that's gonna be it. But anyone else wants a coaching out there, email me, strategyprofessor@gmail.com. If you want to watch more free coaching sessions, I'll release this on the channel. I know I've got a big backlog of these. I'm going to start releasing 1 per day. Maybe I'll even do 2 per day over the next week or so to get them all out there. But if you want to watch more for free, I'll have them in the playlist. It'll have a thumbnail with the champion, so you can very easily figure out which champs you want to look at. And yeah, stop by the stream if you're watching the replay. Like I said, starts around midnight these days. Usually goes till about 5 a.m. We'll see how the teaching schedule goes. If I do get classes in the fall, you know, that might change. Or if like the childcare situation changes, then my schedule might change. But it's usually somewhere between 10 and midnight. And then we usually go till somewhere between 3 to 5 a.m. But anyways, that's going to be it. Have a good day, and we'll see everybody next time.